Greetings! I'm Rob Chappers and welcome to the best advice I've ever been given. Thank you so much to all of the wonderful people on Facebook who asked me 380 something questions when I asked them for Q&A feedback. And this is the best advice I've ever been given. I've got 5 of them. We will start with my buddy Phil X. We've been on tour a couple of times together, twice in fact, across the UK. And I'll never forget blowing my voice out quite severely before I learnt to sing. And Phil said to me, listen man, when you go out there on stage, you need to give it 100%, 75%. And I was like, what are you talking about? That's insane. And he said, no. What I mean is, you can't go out there and give it 110%, because if you do, you're going to blow yourself out in 2 shows. He said, what you need to do is go out there and give it 100% of your 75%. As in, give it all the mental attitude and everything that you would need, the integrity, the energy, but 75% of the physical performance so that you can maintain the tour over a month of, 4 on, 1 off, or whatever it's going to be. And he was absolutely right. That coupled together with wearing in-ears and learning to sing, correct technique, really saved my voice entirely. So cheers Phil, hope you're doing good in Bon Jovi. My next piece of advice comes from my friend Eddie Kramer. And Eddie said to me, the way you stand and the way you breathe dramatically affects the way that you perform your instrument. What was happening was we were cutting a 4-track EP for a band called The Black Hand, a band I used to be in, and we were at Abbey Road, which was awesome. And I just couldn't nail this part. I was trying to play a rhythm part, and for some reason, not that I was feeling it wrong, but I just wasn't performing it very well. To be honest, I was probably just quite nervous because I was in Abbey Road recording with Eddie Kramer. And although he's quite a relaxing guy to be around, and makes everybody tea and he's really nice, you still feel the pressure of the fact that he's recorded everybody that was ever incredible from a lot of the years. And but he sort of stood up and grabbed me and made me sit lower in my stance and told me to stop breathing from my shoulders, and actually told me to do a lot of things that my martial art teachers would have also told me to do, and put me in a position where I was lower and centered and one. And lo and behold, the next take was a nailer. It was spot on, so thank you, Eddie Kramer. Next piece of advice is about business, because I own a couple of businesses, and this comes from Richard Branson. I used to work for Virgin Mobile years and years ago, and I had the pleasure of meeting Richard Branson fleetingly. I was making myself a coffee from one of those disgusting coffee machines that you end up becoming addicted to when you work in an office. And he just walked in, just all Richard Branson. I couldn't believe it, there he was. And I thought, I've got to ask him something. I've got to ask him a question before he goes, because I'll just be, I'll kick myself forever if I don't. So I walked up and I said, look, I'm really sorry, but can I just ask you a question? He's like, of course. And I said, how did you do what you did? How have you managed to have all these successful businesses? Well, the majority of them are successful, and how have you done it? And he said, it's actually really quite simple. I just observe brands doing successful things, and then I look at the format and I copy it, but I apply my own branding to it, and I apply my own feelings and gut feeling to it. So for example, if Coca-Cola is a success, then there's a soft drink that's sweet, that's going to work, people want to buy that, so I'll make a sweet soft drink, but I'll add my own branding to it, and I'll vary it, and I'll change the recipe and make it less sugar and more vitamins or whatever. And he said the most important thing of all is brand. If you have a strong brand, you'll succeed in business. And I absolutely took that to heart, and I'm really glad I did. Next piece of advice, actually recently I heard, which I thought was really good, and it wasn't even delivered as advice, it was just a throwaway statement, but I took it internally, and it really helped me, was Joe Leach from Riff City Guitar. And we were talking about business and people that work for us and staff. And I said to someone that was working at Riff, what's it like working for Joe? And he went, wait a minute. Nobody works for me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he went, no. Nobody works for Joe Leach. Everybody at Riff City Guitar works for themselves. And it's some kind of mantra they have in the business that he runs. They work for themselves because they want to make the money for themselves. And they're their own boss, although they're working with Joe, not for him. And I thought that was a really interesting way to view work. And I suppose it resonated quite true with the way I feel generally about life. I mean, I work very hard, but I work for myself. And working for yourself, you don't mind putting the hours in. Actually, sometimes it's quite nice. So that was a good thing. And you know what? The last best advice I ever had came from myself, because I think the best advice comes from the voice inside, that instinctual gut feeling. I've been Rob Chapman. Luna's about to jump on my face. Take it easy. Chappers out. Say goodbye, Luna.